Hey guys, it's Aman
and Christina
from Our Rich Journey. This is a special video because we are taking you back into our home. In fact, we are sitting in our newly renovated kitchen in our new home that lies here on the Silver Coast of Portugal. And so in this video, we are going to share our latest renovation, this kitchen. And if you have been keeping up with this series, you've seen us buy this home, you've seen us renovate other parts of the home, and in our last video, we shared with you our master bedroom garden suite that opens up into an acre of land that we get to enjoy on a daily basis. Well, adjacent to our master bedroom garden suite is this kitchen. And so we are calling this the Garden Suite Kitchen. And in this video, what we want to do is we want to talk about the process that we went through to renovate this kitchen and give you, of course, a full tour of the kitchen.
So if you guys have been following our channel, you know that the renovation of this house has been our baby. It has been a work in progress. So we are so excited that we have finished another piece of the house to share with you. We've been sharing them on YouTube, like Aman says, but something we also do is we share frequent updates on our Instagram at Rich Journey. And because of that, we get a lot of questions about renovation, about life here in Portugal. And so we really want to answer some of those questions that we've been getting from Instagram for you guys here on YouTube. Now, before we get into all those questions, if you guys are new to our channel is all about making money, saving money, and investing money on the road to financial independence. Aman and I pursued financial independence for 8 years. We reached financial independence and we were able to quit our federal government jobs and retire before the age of 40. So if you are interested in learning about ways to make, save, or invest money, or if you are interested in our life here, early retirement in Portugal, make sure you subscribe to our channel and follow us on Instagram. So let's get into the tour of our kitchen. We're gonna do something really unique with this video, something that we haven't done before. Like I said, we are gonna be addressing questions that we've received from our followers. And so I'm gonna make this almost like a Q&A. I will tell you that the renovation of this specific room, this kitchen, was done all by Aman.
You helped me.
Well,
I mean, you would come in and say, "That doesn't look good, Aman. You need to fix that." I said, I'm in the middle of this.
He did all the heavy lifting. He did all of the renovation. Unlike the rest of the house where me and the girls got involved, but this room here, this kitchen is Aman's baby. So I'm gonna do sort of a Q&A with Aman. I'll be asking the questions and he is gonna respond regarding how he did this entire renovation here in our kitchen here in Portugal.
And I am really excited about this Q&A because just the number of questions that we receive on a daily basis when we share our videos, they have been some great questions. And so I'm excited to share all of the insight that we've gained by doing this renovation ourselves. And so what we're gonna do is, as I answer your questions, we're also gonna give you a tour of the kitchen at the same time. So we're gonna kill two birds with one stone.
Okay, so let's start with the first question. And the first question is just walking us through, telling us all of the things that you did with the renovation here in this kitchen.
Oh, you're talking to me? But you're looking at them? Okay, so everything that was done in this kitchen, we did ourselves. And so we started out with first painting the entire kitchen. That was the first step. We installed new floors, new countertops. We painted the kitchen cabinets. We also installed completely new appliances and lighting.
So I love that you say we, but I do have to reiterate again, this was all Aman's work. I did not help in this space here. But one thing you did forget was the backsplash. That was a big project and we did the backsplash. We're gonna talk actually more about that in another question. So Aman, what do you think was the most surprising thing about this renovation here in the kitchen?
Well, when I was sharing what we were doing, one of the questions that I got was about how I was installing the backsplash. And so I was doing something called tile over tile. And a lot of people were questioning why I was putting the new tile over the old tile. Why not tear the old tile out? And so this was a technique that I learned when I was doing our renovations in the San Francisco Bay Area. I had a friend that was a contractor, and he told me that when you tear out tile, it's far more expensive, it's way more destructive, and it's not necessary at the same time. So when most people are installing a new backsplash, what they do is they tear out the old backsplash, they damage the drywall in the back, so they have to repair the drywall before they can prepare the surface for the new tile. But when you do tile over tile, what you're essentially doing is prepping the old tile. And there's some things that you can do to make sure that the old tile has good integrity for the new tile. So that's exactly what I did. Once I prepped the old tile, I was able to use a super strong adhesive to attach the new tile to the old tile. And this saves you so much time, so much money, and you can't even tell from the final results. It's an amazing technique, and I think if more people are going to be doing DIY projects, they should look to do techniques like this. Because if there's one thing that we learned on our journey is that you have to be creative, and that's how we've approached all of our renovations. That's how we approached financial independence.
Yeah, I would definitely say that that was the most surprising thing, because I remember when you posted it on Instagram and you were showing you going tile over tile, and people were so surprised, thinking like, what? You can do that? And so I think that's really a great lesson for people as they're learning how to DIY, really thinking of these creative approaches to developing so that you can save money and time. The next question is, what tools did you use to renovate this kitchen, and where did you get them? Did you bring them from the States, or did you buy them here?
Well, we get this question all the time. I mean, Portugal has the same things that we had in the United States. They have big box stores like similar to Home Depot or Lowe's, but they have a Leroy Merlin or they have a Brico Depot. At these places, you can get all of the same material and tools that you can get in the United States. And so the tools that I used for this kitchen were actually quite simple. They were all handheld tools. I used a jigsaw, a circular saw, some mallets, some different spatulas to put on the tile. I mean, we'll show you guys all the tools that we used, but everything was available at our local hardware store. It was all handheld, and it was really easy to do.
I'm going to add one other thing, which was the tile cutter. So I think that was something that when I saw you doing it, I thought it would be a really difficult thing to do. But the tile cutter made it so simple and allowed you to do these really intricate cuts to go around the cupboards and things like that. And I think we bought that at Leroy Merlin for about 56 euros. So we did get all of the tools here in Portugal. I like this next question here because you have done a lot of renovations. You did 3 different homes when we lived in the San Francisco Bay Area, and you've almost completed this entire home. So I have to ask you, what was the hardest thing about doing the renovation here in this specific space in this kitchen?
Well, you know, my first renovation, even in the San Francisco Bay Area, it wasn't hard. It was just slow. So I've gotten a little bit more faster. But I would say that the work is not hard. I mean, there's some things that are physically tiring, you know, being on my knees for a long amount of time when I'm laying the tile or lifting up different heavy things, but I got a lot of help. I would say that nothing was impossible, hard to do if you take your time doing it. So we have a video that talks all about the different ways that you can learn to do projects on your own. It's our DIY video. And in that video, we talk about how we learn to do these things. And what you'll find is that once you have this information, you are fully capable of doing it yourself.
So I want to provide some clarification here because, Aman, I think you're basically saying nothing was hard. It was fairly easy. It's just slow, but I do want to say, you know, Aman did not... He taught himself how to do these things. So when we did our first house in the San Francisco Bay Area...
Christina is my biggest cheerleader. Please continue.
Well, I have to say, I'm just saying that other people out there could do this too, because you did the first project all by yourself in the San Francisco Bay Area. You sort of just taught yourself and learned how to do project by project by project. Again, you're much faster now, but I just want to reiterate that people that are interested in DIYing can start with very little experience, just like you did, and then you get to this kitchen that we have here, and it just is a breeze. All right, so let's go on to the next question. And if you guys have seen this entire house, we already mentioned before that we have a kitchen upstairs and then we have this kitchen downstairs. Some of the Portuguese homes have it. It's actually not very uncommon to have two kitchens, and a lot of the reason is either because of multi-generational living, where you have a family like the core family and grandparents living in the same home, or sometimes they have a kitchen that is more for day-to-day meals, and then the other kitchen is for entertaining. So that's just some background about how homes are built here. But my question to you, Aman, is because we have these two kitchens and because you have renovated them both, which one do you think was more difficult to renovate and why?
I would say that the upstairs kitchen, the kitchen that the whole family uses, was the more difficult kitchen because I was under more pressure to get that kitchen done. I mean, when we first moved in the house, that kitchen was basically the kitchen that we were waiting for so that we could cook a normal meal. And that kitchen also had a little bit more tile work, so I had to pay attention to a lot more of the little details when I was cutting the tile. When I did the tile in this kitchen, I was using like a large format tile, so it was really easy to put on the wall. But I had all of these little subway tiles upstairs.
Yes.
So the upstairs kitchen was definitely harder. I probably put more pressure on myself doing it. But I had more fun doing this kitchen because I was being really creative with it.
So this next question is a question that we get repeatedly from a lot of people on our YouTube renovation videos and also on our Instagram. And that question is, how is the renovation here in Portugal in these Portuguese homes different than the renovation work that you do in the United States?
Yeah, that's a really good question because it is different. It is very different. The big difference is the materials that are used here in Portugal. The materials of the walls here in Portugal compared to the materials that we used in the US. Now in the US, most homes are stick-built homes. They have drywall that they use. Here in Portugal, it's brick and mortar. So for me, understanding how to work with these types of walls here, these types of materials, that was a bit of a challenge because I had never done it before. The other thing is, when we're at the hardware store, everything's in Portuguese. So there are a couple of different materials that we buy that are translated in English and in Portuguese and in Spanish. But the majority of things that I had to pick up, I had to use my Google Translate, or I relied on the help of our neighbors and the folks at the hardware store. Our neighbors are amazing. You know, we can get stuck on something and we can ask for their help, and they're so willing to help us. So that was one of the things that I was really thankful for with this project.
Okay, and now I have our last question here, which is, how long did it take you to do the complete renovation of this kitchen here?
Okay, I have to put a caveat on this time frame because the weather in Portugal is getting nicer and it is harder to be at home working on this kitchen when the beaches are amazing right now. We've been on 2 vacations. We went camping and then we went to Lisbon, and so I wasn't as dedicated as I was on the other parts of the house. But it took me about a month of working on the kitchen on and off. I think if I dedicated a 40-hour week, which I'm never going to work 40 hours again in my life, but if I dedicated a 40-hour week to this kitchen, I probably could have finished it in a week or a week and a half. The things that kind of slow you down is, you know, drying times, waiting for things to settle. But if I had everything queued up, I think I could have done this kitchen in about a week.
Okay, so this is sort of hard for me to grasp the time frame because like you said, from start to finish, it was like about a month, but we're not taking into account maybe one day it was like an hour here, next day it's an hour there. So you think, you know, really if you condensed it down, it would only take about maybe 40 hours?
Oh, you don't believe me?
I'm just asking.
Well, okay. So, you know, and we talk about this in, you know, when we talk about real estate investing and the investments that we made in real estate, there are houses that you can find that are complete gut jobs, you know, and then there are homes that just need a superficial fix. And that's exactly what this home was. Everything was in great shape already. We probably could have left it the way it was, but it just needed to be refreshed. And so the refreshes that we did to this kitchen and the other parts of the home, they weren't major, you know, it wasn't major work. It was minor refreshes that we did. And so when I say it only takes a week, I think it only takes a week if you dedicate the amount of time to doing a refresh of a room.
So those are all the questions that I have for you. Of course, if you guys have questions, please leave them in the comments. Let us know what your questions are so that we can, or Aman can, respond to them and give you some more insight about renovation work here in Portugal. And of course, if you guys are interested in doing your own renovations, if you're interested in finding your own real estate in Portugal, make sure you enroll in our Moving to Portugal class. We talk about the whole process of moving to Portugal, but we have a portion of that course really dedicated to real estate here in Portugal as well. So check that out. We'll leave the link in the description below. We'll also leave the link to all of the other renovation projects that we've done on this house in the description below. Now, of course, if you are watching this video, we always sign it off on the same way. If you like this video, please make sure you give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and join the journey.